I've been thinking a lot about the concept of starting over in recent times. In fact, I've started my life over a lot of times, if I count it, in my opinion. I've started over a lot of things in my life. I'm kind of the king of starting over, if you ask me. And this is also why I'm starting a new Minecraft world to sort of symbolize this reset. The first time I reset my life was when I left my home country at the age of 15. I went from a school of about 150 kids, a town of 3,000 people, in the middle of nowhere, Greece, to the United States in a town of 40,000 people in a school of 2,500 kids. The school population itself was almost bigger than my hometown. Okay, I knew nobody. I didn't know anything, anyone. Luckily, I spoke the language, and could read and write, which was my superpower, I guess, being bilingual. Gotta thank my mother for that one. But other than that, I was nobody. I was just a nobody in a new place, and personally, I loved it. I wasn't happy with the reputation I had in my home country. I wasn't happy with, I guess, how I was socially back then. So it pretty much propelled me into a new version of myself, because I could create whatever I wanted to be. I could create myself into whoever I wanted to be. I had no social standing. I was at the absolute zero on the karma scale. Okay, if you think of a game that has a karma system, right? You lean towards the bad and the good, or you just have certain things that people know about you and people already have an image of you, but I had no image. It was amazing. And I went through high school. I did my thing, developed some sort of a reputation again, became a different person. I wasn't a different person, really. I was just able to form the vision people had of me in a different way. I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly. It just feels I was just different in people's eyes. Or at least that's what I thought. You can never really know what people think about you. You can never really know what the overall conversation is about you when the door is closed. And you can assume what that is. I mean, obviously, you can assume Josh over there doesn't like you because he doesn't want to talk to you every time you pass by him in the hallway. Or you can assume that Cindy over there likes you because she smiles at you every time she sees you. But you can't really know. People like to lie about that stuff. People like to not show what they're feeling a lot. And some people do it subconsciously, some don't. But I digress. The point is, that was the reset. And that reset was really healthy for me, because it allowed me to release myself from the chains of whatever I thought the notion of me was. But the thing is, by the end of high school, I found myself in a similar position. There were certain things that I didn't like about what people thought of me, or just, I don't know. I went through a similar experience again. And luckily for me, it was time for another reset. College. Okay, when I went to college, a similar thing happened. I kind of re-experienced what I experienced when I was 15, 16 years old, and got another reset. I got another chance at building who I am to people. And to myself more so, because how you view yourself is way more important than how most people view you when you have a bit of an identity crisis. I guess that's what I would classify that as back then. The thing is, I had the upper hand in college because I'd already gone through this. For most people, this was the first time they got to reshape their identity and be in a new place. Unless, I guess, you're one of those kids that moved around in different high schools and stuff a lot. But for the most part, I had that upper hand, at least in my own opinion. And I liked it again because I was able to shape certain things about myself and able to establish new habits and have other people see those habits, and I could, I don't know, what did I think? I could impress everybody? Everyone cares about what others think to an extent. I mean, I think I'm at the point where I like to believe that I don't care, or at least to an extent I don't care, but back then it mattered a lot more than it does now. In fact, one of the main things I changed when I got to college was that I used to go by Nick. I didn't used to go by Nico because I thought Nick was more American. That was basically it. I wanted to be more part of the pack when I got to high school. I wanted to fit in, which is normal, right? In high school, you want to fit in because not fitting in causes you to lose social status. You're not exactly the popular kid. Not that I was ever popular by any means I wasn't popular in either country. That was 2 for 2. But I used to go by Nick because I thought it was more American and I could fit in more. And then I got to college, and on my dorm floor, for those of you who don't know what a dorm is, it's basically like where all the kids live in college, or all the students live in college, and it's just basically like a hotel room slash, basically like a hotel hallway with a bunch of doors, and on the doors for that freshman dorm were the names of who lived in each dorm. And when I tell you there was about 10 Nicks on my floor, 11 including myself, and I was like, fuck this. I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be different. I want to be Niko. Because that's realistically what my name was, okay? It was Niko. It was never Nick. In fact, my mother urged me from the beginning of getting to the States that I should call myself Niko, but I didn't want to. And then I hit the big switcheroo and said, all right, I guess I'm going by Niko now. My roommate, who had also known me from high school, was like, hell no, this is bullshit. But he eventually came around like 2 years later. But he was like the one person in college calling me Nick when everyone else would call me Niko. And that was like a big shift again for me. I have an issue with my name and how I like to call myself. In fact, for the longest time, YouTube channel wise, the first YouTube channel I ever had, I think went through, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm on like name change 5 or 6 on that channel right now because I never really picked a name that I said, okay, this is the one, until I reached one and I was like, I'm sticking with this, and that's it. And then I made the Niko Yaps channel, or the Niko channel rather, which was another name change technically, but this one never changed. This one has been what it is from the start. But that was again me starting over. The Niko channel is me starting over my YouTube career, I guess, or my YouTube, I don't know, hobby at the time. It just was one of those things that I had been doing the other channel for so long, had done so many experiments and so much shit that I was like fed up. I don't know. It felt like I was hitting dead end after dead end with every video I posted. And the thing is, I was so scared. I was so scared to start over because I had built something, right? I had built a portfolio of videos that I liked, and I enjoyed, and some of my friends liked, right? I had about 4,000 subscribers, and I didn't want to lose that because it took me so long to build those 4,000 subscribers. It took me years. It took me like 5 years to build that following, which felt like nothing, right? It felt like nothing because it wasn't like I had, interactions with my viewers or anything. It's not anything like what is going on now, which I'm so grateful for. I'm so grateful for this community that we've built, okay? 140,000 people, right? But that was only possible. This community here was only possible because I said, it's time to start over again. It's time to hit the reset button and say, I want to do something new. I have an idea. I have something that I want to accomplish here. And you know what? If it does well, fine. If it doesn't, it's a little hobby for me. And look where we are now, guys. There's 145,000 of you exchanging ideas and commenting and helping each other out. And besides what I'm saying in these videos, right? I'm not even talking about me here. I'm saying that a reset here was able to create something so beautiful and amazing. Okay? So when you're thinking about your life and starting over and doing something over, do it sooner rather than later. Because there's this thing that people say that it's never too late to start over, or it's never too late to chase your dreams or whatever. And I think that's a load of bullshit. And I'm going to tell you why. I waited so long to hit the reset button. I was contemplating for, I think, actual years, like a couple of years before I started this channel, I was contemplating whether or not I should restart a channel. I was contemplating doing something new from scratch, not just starting a new video or a different type of video on the same channel, a whole new thing. And I waited and waited and waited, and I even gave myself a deadline that if it didn't work by, 2022, if that channel didn't take off, I would stop doing YouTube. But I couldn't bring myself to stop doing YouTube because I didn't want to, right? What I settled for instead was starting a new channel. Had I not done that back then, had I not started this channel, who knows? I might have quit YouTube by now. I might have let the dream die because I was fed up. I was fed up with what was happening. I was fed up with lack of results. Like everyone always gets fed up. That's like the one question that people give me, right? That's the one question that people ask me like all the time. How do you do it? How do you get here? How do you deal with the lack of results? And what I'll answer every time is there is no way to explain it. You just have to want it enough. You just have to want to be somewhere enough to the point where you force yourself to get there. But I digress. This is not what this video is about. Had I not started this channel back then, I would have not been where I am today. I wouldn't have met so many people, talked to so many people, experienced so many cool things. I wouldn't have done any of it because I would have been so scared. So don't be scared to start over. Starting over is one of the most beautiful things on the planet because it's fun and exciting and new. And yes, it sucks that you had to quit whatever you were doing before to do it, but it's actually amazing. And people don't realize that until they get there, until they make that push, until they take the risk to stop themselves from being in that purgatory that they've been for however long. How many people are in dead-end jobs right now that are so scared to do whatever it is to start over, maybe start a different career because they hate it, because they hate their careers, okay? I stopped video editing full-time because I didn't like it. I just did not like it. I did not like editing for other people from my room and just not interacting with anybody. I did not like that shit one bit. And I did it for a year, okay? I did it for a year because a year was the threshold of me saying, you know what? If I hate it after this point, there's no way I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. And I quit. That's one of the real reasons I quit, okay? That was one of the real main reasons I quit. Because I didn't want to do any more remote work for other people. I wanted to be in person and talk to people and interact with people. Now, you might say to me, okay, you're doing a YouTube channel about gaming. You're pretty much doing the same thing, but it's different because this isn't me working for somebody else. This is me working for myself. At any point, I could pick up a camera and go outside and start vlogging. On a different channel, of course, again, but it's still under that umbrella of it's for me. It's not for somebody else. It's not, if I decide tomorrow I want to stop, I'm the only one who I have to report to. I have a friend that I went to college with. Let's call him Joe. Okay. Joe, he was a history major that didn't like it and decided that he was going to switch and be a film major. Okay. History to film is not exactly the hardest transition, but you still have to reset. You still have to do other classes. You have to take things that you were supposed to take in freshman year and your junior year, right? You have to restart. You have to start over, and you have to catch up if you want to be done within 4 years. I guess you could take an extra year to finish, but you understand what I mean. And he started over, and he did his thing, and he met some of his favorite people, right? He made such good friends. In fact, he met his wife, okay? He met his wife because of the fact that he changed majors and went into film, okay? His wife, by the way, is one of my closest friends. I went to their wedding. I think in August? Yeah, their wedding was in like August. You know how fucking wild that is? If he had never started over, if he had never went to a different major, tried something different, he would not have met his wife. Think of how much of a mind fuck that must be for him. And to be completely honest with you guys, I hadn't actually thought about that up until just now. This just occurred to me, okay? That some of my favorite people on this planet got married to each other because of one major decision there, One decision to start over. And part 2 of this, even before they got married, even before when he graduated. When he graduated with his film degree, he did some stuff in film production, being on set and all that stuff, but he didn't love it as much as he thought he would. He likes it kind of part-time to be able to work on things, but he didn't want it as much. He didn't like the fact that there was no job security in that field. So what did he do? He restarted again. Or not exactly restarted, but he went into teaching. Instead of being a filmmaker, he taught film, or he teaches film. And from what I hear, he likes it. He likes it way better than the uncertainty of the film industry. He enjoys teaching, something that I could never do personally. Bless his heart. But again, it took the reset. It took the starting over. So guys, start over. Whatever it is. If you think that you hate your college major, or you think that you've been playing violin for so long that you're bored and you want to take up piano, or you want to start a different sport. Maybe you've been obsessed with basketball, but soccer/football is more your cup of tea. Just start. But do it now. Don't do it 10 years from now. If Joe had waited even an extra year to leave the history degree, he might have never gotten close with his wife. He might have never taken that path, and his life might be very different and possibly worse. If I hadn't started the Niko channel a year ago, you guys wouldn't be hearing me. You guys wouldn't be hearing my voice talk. You probably wouldn't even see me on YouTube anymore. Because truthfully, as much as I want to believe I would have kept going, I don't know if I would have. Don't wait until you're 75 and retired to start over and do stuff, because at that point it will be too late. When your body starts to crumble, when your mind starts to crumble, when everything starts to crumble, doing things over is not really, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's not ideal. Because you've spent too much time doing things that you don't want, that you're tired, and you don't want to even potentially leave the comfort zone of the thing you don't like to find something that you might potentially like even less. And I'm sure that most of you watching this right now are probably in middle school, high school, maybe early 20s. So this is more for you. Take the risk. Reset, start over, run it down. Just run it down. Allow yourself to see new beginnings. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this official first episode of, I guess, season 2 of The Yap. I might also be playing some different games from time to time that might be more fitting for a specific topic or something of the sort. So stay tuned for that as well. Also, let me know how you feel about adding music to this, because I'm kind of on the fence. I kind of like it, I kind of don't. So let me know. And for those of you that are more of a listening type, I'm going to turn this into a YouTube podcast, the entire Yap playlist from start to finish. And maybe I'll start putting these videos on Spotify. Yeah, turn it into a Spotify podcast. But for now, thank you all again so much for watching. And as always, good night and good luck, everybody.